So without any further delays, please join me. If you want to unmute your mic and unmute your camera, give a round of applause. Welcoming Peleke Flores from Waimea, Kauaʻi, Doudt from Kilauea, Kauaʻi, Moyra Kim from Kahalu, Oahu, Kaliko, Mokuahi from Waimea, Kauaʻi, Tina Kinimaka from Aiea, Oahu, and Joshua Winter from Makiki, Oahu. And they will be talking to us about Mālama Hulēiʻa. So let's put on some virtual sunscreen and let's join them this afternoon.
Mai kako, well, Peleke Flores, Mālama for joining us in this presentation. This is we'll be talking about our virtual curriculum that we kind of started up this year because of the pandemic, and this is our opening page of what it looks like. Right now, this is our team that it built up to be. With our nonprofit organization, Mālama Hulēiʻa. Our nonprofit organization focus on moving red mangrove and Hulēiʻa ecosystem, and currently we are removing mangrove, or we have removed mangrove from Alakoko fish pond, otherwise known as Menehune fish pond. And I'm the community outreach coordinator and operations manager of our executive director, Sarah Bowen, on the bottom left, and then our Nakama Haupu intern, Tiele-Lauren. Also been partnered with Inaka Karate, who's a kumu at Chiefs Kamehameha Middle School, and also Aaron Cub Adams with Kamehameha Schools Regional, and then our Kealapono team, Galau Makaloa, Kaliko, Mokuahi, Moyra Kim, Kinimaka, and Joshua Winter. So it kind of started rolling out what you guys will see for today. Next. So, all of this pretty much started out for us because of the call out that we had because of the pandemic and the schools not being able to do field trips. Yes, we could make a video kind of featuring around the hot curriculum and strengthen the deepening of pilina and connections and kaiulu in the community. So to still increase a sense of belonging to a place and family through mo'olelo, and increase a sense of Hawaii through the increased awareness of our home, places, the people, practices, stories around us. Yeah, so with that, we created a video that is about 9 minutes, kind of just brief overview of everything you would experience at the fish pond. And in a way, it was kind of doubling up for me. We kind of started, was like, oh, we could totally use this after the pandemic to help warm up the haumana or anybody visiting, so that they get a glimpse of what to expect. They know where they're coming. They know how to introduce themselves, little basic stuff, so that when they come, all I gotta do is reinforce like a lot of that what they just went over, like on the physical, spiritual, mental, or like right in the space. And then we could actually fit in more ike about that area once they get on site instead of starting right from ground zero. So right now we'll play a 9-minute video of our virtual huakaʻi that we'll do, so that people at least still get connected with the place, and then later on see what this evolved into. Okay. Enjoy. Aloha mai kako. Welcome to Alakoko Fish Pond. My name is Peleke Flores, and I'm the Field Operations Manager for Mālama Hulēiʻa. We'd like to share this short video with you, sharing an experience you might encounter while visiting this special place. Also, sharing some basic tips that might be useful to you while visiting other ʻāina sites like ours. We'll be sharing examples of protocol basics, a brief history of the area, and a quick overview of fish ponds and its connections to fish, plants, birds, and people. Let's get started with protocol basics. First off, know who you represent, meaning yourself as an individual, your ohana, or the hui you are with. Second, know where you're going. 2 basic examples. knowing the name of the place and what kind of place is it. Is it a tar patch, fish pond, salt bed, mauka, river, kai? Where are you going? Third, understand why you're going there. For example, is it for aloha ʻāina, for education, staff development, whatever brought you here? There should always be a simple reason why you're visiting this special place. Fourth, prepare how to ask permission to enter. It could be as simple as talking, chanting, or singing. All depends what you are most comfortable with. Next will be safety. Come prepared physically and mentally with the whole site's recommendations. First, wearing the correct attire and protection. Second, knowing what to expect while you're on site. If you follow these basic preparations before entering any site, you open yourself up to a better experience wherever you go. Upon entering, you'll be prepared to request permission to enter. Just wait for a response. When you receive the response, there's 2 more basic tips to help you get through your experience. Number 1, be respectful to the place, to the host, to each other, and the energies that still roam. And number 2, just straight up follow directions.
Okay, let's learn a little about this place. So, we are on the island of Kauaʻi, in the Mokuahi, in the Ahupua'a of Aiku, at the loko of Alakoko. We're surrounded by Hulēiʻa River and the pu'u of Kamaluhale. So Hulēiʻa was a really big breadbasket back in the day. Way before all this change, Hulēiʻa supported a wide variety of food and resources. This river fed taro patches, other fish ponds. The river itself had food, and into the ocean, where there was a lot of hukilau happening right below. Through time, things have changed and a big change was when the rock wall, the break wall was built up in Wili Harbor, and the harbor itself really stopped circulation of the good salt water coming up to the estuary. So during that time, a lot of things started falling apart and we almost lost all our systems. But today we still have a few systems left, and Alakoko is one of them. And we're trying to save that. Then the introduction of mangrove happened in the 60s, which further almost pushed everything out. Really took over the river and took over most of the fish pond edges, all of the fish pond edges. There's about 70 acres worth of mangrove within the whole Hulēiʻa estuary. And right now, Mālama Hulēiʻa ended up being formed to help bring awareness to the mangrove and its effects happening in the river. A few of the paddlers from Kaiola Canoe Club was the first ones to help bring it up and start the nonprofit, and slowly went out to get more community support. And as of today, we got 3 acres down of mangrove by the end of Wali Stream, and now we're working at Alakoko Fish Pond trying to remove 26 acres of the mangrove. Now today, many of people have heard the call from Keiki Tukupuna and have come out and helped us join the movement to save whatever we have left, and we have yet to have more come out. So, Hawaiian fish ponds are very unique. We have 6 different types of fish ponds in Hawaii, ranging from freshwater to brackish water, a little salty. These are the lo'iʻakalo, loko, hapuna, kuapa, pu'uone, and umeki, with a few yet to be determined. Alakoko fish pond is a kuapa style fish pond, which functions off of brackish water. It is said to have 3 makaha for water circulation and recruiting and harvesting fish. The pond has a stone face wall with a dirt berm separating itself from the river, with an ʻāwai named Kapenu bordering the hillside. Kuapa style fish ponds are considered to us today as giant ice boxes and are capable of stocking all types of water, like from the base of the microscopic food chain to limu, to fish, crustaceans, shellfish, and plants and birds, and many more. I truly believe that the importance of Hawaiian fish ponds, along with the knowledge and resources that come from it, can be of great use to our community within these modern times. It is Also, great resource as an outdoor classroom that covers a wide variety of subjects for every age group, similar to other Hawaiian food systems. Fish ponds are also a good bioindicator of a healthy ahupua'a system, where water quality from mauka or makai will have a huge effect on a healthy fish pond. The fruitfulness of a fish pond will prove the sustainable wealth of its ahupua'a. The most common type of fish that is grown in a kuapa style fish pond, but not limited to, are mullets. When fish ponds are well balanced, it will attract all types of life to its sweet waters. It is a self-feeding system that is definitely technology at the peak of its time. Along with the removal of invasive mangrove, we have been planting native Hawaiian wetland plants to help improve the water quality of the fish pond's environment, which plays an important role in supporting uses for the fishes, the birds, water quality itself, and cultural traditions. A few plants we've been focusing on reestablishing in the borders of the pond are ʻāina, makaloa, ahuava, kulikuli, and soon to be limu. Wetland plant uses around the fish ponds include wildlife shelter, nesting, food for fish and birds, and some plants provide the function of improving water quality. We as people benefit from the plants for food, medicine, shelter materials, and traditional uses like weaving, making rope, and ceremonial materials. As the native plants start to establish themselves around the pond, signs of native birds are another bioindicator of showing a healthy system. The native wetland habitat surrounding the pond is vital for recovering many of the endangered water birds. A few of the native birds that have been more frequently to the pond area since the removal of mangrove have been the laiʻula, the koloa, the aio, the ulili, and many others. The presence of native birds arriving in is a sign of the abundance of food in the area. As we clean and restore the area, we will also be reconnecting the relationship with the birds as we did in the old times. As we continue to restore the fish pond, we as a community hope to benefit from food sustainability and education that could really help us understand things a little bit better in our environment in these modern times, and can really help us understand how our kupuna survived in the middle of the ocean, growing and gathering 100% of everything they needed. We would like to invite anybody who has interest in coming down and learning and giving back to the fish pond to restore, and hopefully in return that fish pond will give back to you by teaching you something. Check out our website, our Instagram, social media, Facebook, and hopefully more of our videos as we go more in depth and little learning for the classroom experience, so that when you guys come down, we can help reinforce the physical and spiritual side of this learning. Mahalo nui loa.
Yeah, so that's what came out without really just going with that one video, not knowing what was going to go on after that. But this next slide you guys see is, for the record, my chicken scratch first edition template of what the video was supposed to cover. Broke it up into 6 sections. I was supposed to rewrite this out plenty times, but everybody's just started running with it. So you guys can see the actual first ugly writing one. But on top of these 6 different sections cover protocol basics, pre-visit, entering, during, and when you're exiting, history about at least our area, and then different types of loko, and then more specifically into Alakoko, and then the meakanu, the plants, the birds, and then the people, and how everything intertwines together. So this just supposed to be 2-minute highlights within that video, and then we're initially supposed to break down these 2 minutes and go way more in depth, kind of, and make activities. And that's when Aaron Adams introduced us with the Kealapono team, Makaloa, and then from there was kind of it's kind of funny because we didn't know what to expect. Like, oh yeah, they'll come give us some ideas a couple times, and then ended up being more and more and growing, and the ball just started rolling. And yeah, so throughout the side, you'll see what it started developing into.
Aloha nui no kākou. My name is Tiele-Lauren Doudt. I'm from Kilauea, Kauaʻi. I'm currently interning from a position that's provided in partnership with Hulēiʻa and AmeriCorps Hawaii to provide research and education and trying to figure out how we can support our Aloha ʻāina organizations. And so I was brought on a few months ago, but this project was kind of already rolling when they're introducing it to me. My role is kind of to assist with organizing all of our data onto Google Slides, and then also receiving training and mentorship, which has been super awesome from Peleke and also the KS team, learning how to create what you guys are going to see, this, which we ended up using on like a Genially platform. But our vision for this e-learning, this virtual learning curriculum, was to have a platform that further improves and elaborates upon Aloha ʻāina technologies along the Hulēiʻa River on the island of Kauaʻi. And we're hoping for this curriculum to be accessible from all ages, from keiki, pepe to kupuna. It was really important for us to make this accessible to all communities of Hawaii and even beyond. And even Peleke is always like, oh yeah, I want to do like voice recording. So it's like even keiki can listen, and it's like people don't necessarily even need to be able to read to be able to go through this huakaʻi, this field trip. There's a lot more room for future development, and some of those different projects include creating like a pre and post testing to see how much people are learning throughout this process, and also to do more. A big project that we're hoping to do within a year is to put everything into Olelo Hawaii. So it's like, then it's a Hawaiian language learning tool, you know? So it's like you would enter, and then there'd be like a Hi Hawaii, and you could put it on, and then the whole platform would be in Hawaiian, and then in like we'd have like little snippets where you can hear Olelo Kanaka, and that'd be really cool to highlight the linguistical heritage of Kauaʻi. So that's going to be hopefully in our next rounds of this curriculum development.
Aloha. So going off of what, it was really to increase the access of ʻāina-based rigorous curriculum that highlights this magical wahi pana. We wanted to make sure that it was aligned to HA and standards so that our kula could utilize it, and that there was opportunities to do both synchronous, maybe with a kumu, and then asynchronous for students to be able to do it on their own, and also providing opportunities for people outside of kula. So, pepe, babies all the way up to our kupuna would be able to engage in this curriculum. So those are some of the really important aspects that we tried to think of when creating this curriculum.
Aloha. Just adding on to what everyone has shared so far, as the vision and mission of Mālama Hulēiʻa well aligned with our Kealapono vision to Mālama, opportunities to grow Hawaiian culture-based education and Hawaiian culture-based educators to be advocates of change for our ʻāina. This initiated a significant and prime opportunity for us to holomua with our partnership, and then begin to engage in a process that could bring this whole vision to life.
So back in August, Aukake, we met, and Peleke and Sarah kind of shared the vision of what this online learning curriculum could be. And Peleke shared his fabulous storyboard with us. And it was easy to see that that could be a curriculum with 6 units and accompanying lessons. So we were able to kind of plan out what this could look like back in August.
Aloha. Then in September, we used the Hawaiian culture-based education processing tool to refine and hone in on the ike that was presented in Peleke's storyboard to create outlines for each unit. In the outlines, we included the resources or loko, the standards and objectives, the mana'o nui for the unit, the accompanying ha'awina that would build pilina, share mo'olelo, include olelo, kilo opportunities, and experiences to work on lavena, loina, and nohona at an aloha ʻāina site, as well as authentic assessments. So in the example that you can see for lesson 3.1, on the storyboard, it talked about different local ʻia, and through the use of the tool and collaborative discussions, we were able to flesh out Peleke's original mana'o to include each component of the lesson or unit.
And continuing on our timeline, in October, we were still able to continue this collaboration, and it was just super cool and amazing to have all of us coming from different islands working on this project together. In this specific ki'i back in October, our team still continued on with our weekly collaboration while we were scattered throughout 3 different moku, and still being able to holomua, we were able to find ways that leveraged each other's talents, passions, and experiences and backgrounds, and still continuing to build capacity as we learn from each other throughout this ongoing process.
Aloha. So I was originally brought into the team to assist with the technology side of our curriculum. We originally started with a Google site, but by November, it soon became apparent that our sessions, Peleke would ask requests such as, could we have arrows showing the flow of the kai? Could we show the brackish water mixing? Can we have the kuapa'a pop up? Can we include kana and kana loa? So it soon became apparent through these brainstorming sessions that were truly collaborative that we needed a different platform. So that really pushed my technological skills. I was able to find a platform that is called Genially. It is a platform which I would say is similar to PowerPoint, a little more fancy, but also kind of like a website. So we took our first unit and put it onto this platform, and the product that was produced was, it was really clean. We actually did a pilot run with Inoka and his haumana. So we got some good feedback that this was good for the learners. So we decided to run with this program, and Genially is now the platform that Mālama Hulēiʻa has chosen to use, and we're continuing to build out the units through this platform.
And in December, I was brought on to evaluate more seriously, or not evaluate, like to pull together our mana'o from the fish pond and also from our KS Ohana partners, and trying to do like trainings with Josh and figure out how how to basically build these huge websites that make it a more like almost a really interactive video game. And so that's kind of where we are now, still in like the programming side of it.
So now I'm going to show you guys this. Oh, sorry. Go, Josh.
Oh, no, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, so this is a version of our curriculum that's made for this presentation. So go ahead, Peleke.
And then we're going to just quick scroll you guys through what you guys would see if you guys are entering into the first section. It says information that we'd like to capture, that can be changed to what you need if you have to return in any grants. So just tracking who's using the system. And then you see this in our first page. You can pick any unit I want to start off with. Right now we got unit 1 open, so it'll give you the basics on pre-visit, the 4 different lessons. You click on down, send you into starting to learn how to set up for pre-visiting. On top of the site, there's some Hawaiian words. If you kind of hover over it, it'll show the English, and then it shows you a resource to watch. And kind of broke up that first video into the first 2 minutes. So learn pre-visiting a place, knowing where you're going, and what you're gonna do there. And we'll slide into the next slide, and then it'll give you a little way to how to know who you are in Hawaiian, or at least how to say who you are. Aloha o Peleke ko'ui noa, and then it gives an example of how to say it. The second page gives you resource of learning where you're from. So at least for Kauaʻi, in this resource, they can show what ahupua'a they're in. It also gives other resources from outside on other links. Then it also goes into ho'okupu, types of ho'okupu, at least our site, what we have received, and just to give people that always have the question of what this should bring. It's like a little highlight, yeah, on top of just your layout too, or your physical present. And then there's an exit pass. So then tell you what you learned, and 2 quick questions to get you into the lesson 1.2. And then here's other short, different videos of how to be prepared, like your posture, and then all these examples of ollies that we have for Alakoko, Kauaʻi. And then there's also YouTube videos that will help you learn it and the words. So people kumus can start teaching their students how to come. And then it's the Lavena checklist, seeing what is maikaʻi ole versus maikaʻi, to stand prepared. Yeah, we're just going with whatever we got to just or take the picture and capture the whole moment. Then another exit pass. Every time we get an exit pass to get into the next lesson, and some more little videos, and then a project with it. So like this one is our Mokuahi checklist, at least for our site coming, and tell people how to come prepared. That's to help that site. So when you come, it's like the flow is better. And every site basically has one like that. So kind of getting kumus and the students and the parents knowing how to be prepared. And the last part is also leaving the place, and that, how to leave respectfully, and pretty much, always leaving a place better than when you came to it. And for us, always hosting groups, like this is how it usually looks when people leave. So I was like, how can we get this into this so that when they leave, they know how to, leave things nicely. Usually there's underwears and socks and everything all over the place. But then you hover over something, it'll show like, okay, if there's clothes left there, then how it's supposed to be when it comes up. I definitely would like to update that more to a video game kind of match, but it's Josh figured that part out. That was way higher than what I thought we could get to. So it's definitely motivating when we keep learning technology stuff, and then it gets you out and you get to Unit 2. So it was really quick, just overview. Usually if you just go through it regular, you have to wait 2 minutes or a certain amount of minutes to get to the next one, to make sure that the student goes through, or whoever's going through goes through the process, because we know if students might be flying through, just clicking buttons, going through, and they fully miss, and when they reach the exit pass, they cannot really answer anything. So I don't know, I could probably vouch for being one of those, but trying to block all the stuff that I would have done, I guess. Then, yeah.
So we also wanted to highlight the alignment to standards. So when you enter a unit, you can then click on a specific lesson, and that will take you to the beginning of the lesson. Once you're there, you navigate down toward the corner of your screen, and you'll see the little green button labeled standards. And then once you click on that button, the box will pop up. So as you can see, certain standards are listed and links are provided for you to easily navigate to sites that will provide you with further detailed information. For this collaboration, we focused on Naho-Pena-A'o, the Next Generation Science Standards, and the Common Core ELA standards. So we'd like to highlight that although each lesson is aligned to standards, we do advise that each lesson be used in conjunction with other teaching and learning experiences to support students in achieving mastery of those standards. So we just acknowledge that each kumu has ike about their haumana that allows them to best design experiences to support their diverse haumana.
So we are really excited. Our Unit 1 is currently the only live unit that's up and running. Our Unit 3 now is in a pilot phase, which we're excited. So we're actually going to share one of the lessons from our Unit 3 with you folk, and we're going to give you guys some time to kind of play around. And as Peleke said, just know that this version is sped up. The next arrow that pops up, it will just be there for you guys, but in the when this goes live, it will be a delayed next button, just to engage the learner and have them engage the content and not fly through everything. So go take 5 minutes, peruse our lesson 3.2, and then we'll come back for questions. Mahalo.
I'd like to call everybody back to the room. Please exit the side screen. We cannot tell if anybody's back in the room, or at least hopefully you guys can hear and listening. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a quick example of one of those things. We chose that unit because that has like a lot of action going on in that one loko section. And yeah, hopefully you guys got to at least skim through it real fast and see what kind. We're hoping to later on amplify more on it when we start learning newer technology and getting way more interactive with things. But that is as good as we get right now, and hopefully that would, one of the projects is like if kids are to watch this and then have a kit back at home, and that'll be like a science project of mix, like understanding like a color of fresh water versus the color of salt water, and then mixing them together and seeing where the brackish water kind of ends up and how important the brackish water environment is to loko. Yeah. Other than that, to mahalo everybody, mahalo our team, Kealapono Lau Makaloa crew, KS Regional, Chief Kamahele, and our Mālama Hulēiʻa gang, and this platform having us present on there. I'm kind nervous, but I'd rather look at everybody in their face than not see anybody at all, I guess. But I guess this is now the time we can open them up for questions and see how, we'd like to really know how you guys felt. Mahalo nui.
If you're putting your question in the chat, they are being answered.
We did have a question earlier. When asking to enter, what is said? Is there a certain saying before you enter the place?
Within our first unit was kind of like examples of just basic ways to enter. If you're individual, a group, if you're just talking, we have an example in there, just a quick insert that kind of we use at Hulēiʻa fish pond. There's also a couple oli in there that we provide stuff to learn for the kumus, at least, to have, what's that called, resources to like teaching the kids about that area, because within those olis have a lot of place names too. So just knowing that coming to a place, you understand where you're coming to, and then also get your own way of coming. So a lot of schools have their own olis or meles. So it just gives all the different examples of ways to be prepared to come in and entering any aloha ʻāina site, not just ours, but totally, yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Mahalo.
Also, too, on the side, I know always making this to in a whole, like we're trying to set up, especially in that first unit, is we know for me at least, when dealing with a lot of schools and teachers coming and students, and it seems like a lot of the teachers kind of shy away because they don't know how to enter or like how to teach our keiki to enter, but they want them to experience it, so they don't want to. A lot of times they don't want to go because they don't want to be disrespectful. So this is kind of just one little, like surface layer. Get more than one way for them. This is just one basic level for teaching. Like hopefully later on we get like one higher level of stuff, and then we can dive into the realm that with Roxy guys could probably tap into that realm way faster than me. But yeah, but just to help like get more people comfortable and aware and how to just basic protocol again. And it's made up in a way where like if somebody else wanted to take that template, they can just plug and play and customize to their wahi, but that protocol is still kind of set up. Entering or pre-entering, entering, how you act in a space, and then how you leave. And just kind of in those 4 steps, but everybody can customize to their wahi as best as can. And when later on, within 10, 15 years from now, the kids get on already automatic protocol set back up in the na'au, in the po'o, in the flow, whatever island they go, So it's just automatic again. Like right now, we're just going to people's houses and not bringing anything, or just like, oh yeah, showing up. But just within our parents' time, our kupuna time wasn't like that. Like you come prepared, you bring something, and you aloha, vice versa, and you're kind of losing that in a way. So it's kind of a way to slide that back in and be knowledgeable and functional and purposeful when you're going to some place. Aloha, brother Wale, long time no see.
Before too many people leave, just wanted to mahalo Peleke and Kealapono for sharing today. It's really inspiring to see how you took the inspiration and you connected the ike, the curriculum to make this virtual huakaʻi. I think I'm looking forward to the day that we can visit, and there's more that you guys have been planned for your site, and it's really exciting. So if you want to unmute yourself or unmute your video to give them a round of applause and just thank them, we hope that you will join us in our final keynote, the Daughters of Mau, which will start in a few minutes. But if you want to just end thanking them with a round of applause.
Peleke. Big mahalo to the boy.
Mahalo.